Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, didn't do too much. We're still hovering in the tight range. Yeah, I saw a few people getting a bit emotional about that small drop here that we had yesterday, but to be honest, it's still above the support area. It hasn't taken out the previous low. I've already read comments that we are breaking down, and we might very well be, but it really hasn't done a lot yet. One thing to mention though, and that is certainly something that you could say at least a little bit increases the risk of breaking down from here, is that it dropped out of the trend line to the downside, but then I wouldn't call that a super reliable signal. We talked in yesterday's videos about the idea this could be an ascending triangle. It could also be, depending on how you draw it, and there are just always different interpretations. I do acknowledge them both because I think they are both valid, that this could be some kind of an ascending wedge, which would be a more of a bearish pattern. But either way, nothing changes from the previous videos that are highlighted, or the previous videos that are made, where I'm telling you that upside expectations have been fulfilled. Yeah, the minimum expectations have been fulfilled for this rally, which started back in November. So it has done enough. It could very well break down and finally get into this wave 2 support area. Should we do that, and should we lose critical support, then this is the area I'm going to look forward to, between 17,500 and 20,360. That's ultimately what we're preparing for, by knowing about the structure here, and that we're getting sort of towards the end of this rally, because we are in a fifth wave, and that is just off the rally that started back in November, sort of the last leg. Of course, this can extend out, but in the end, if it breaks down, we shouldn't be surprised. We should rather be happy that it's finally making some progress in the charts. Yeah, so there is no reason to panic. In fact, that's what I prepare you for here. That at some point we probably will see quite a sharp correction. Yeah, so don't be surprised if at some point we see quite a sharp correction. Ideally after one more wave up, but as I said to you, the minimum expectations to this rally are complete, because we rallied above the wave 3 high, which was highlighted here or marked at 24,250. Yeah, so the minimum expectations have been fulfilled. Not the ideal target though. That's sort of around 26.7k. But even then, I showed you in yesterday's video that the very first target for a fifth wave is actually exactly in this area. So it has done what it needs to do. That's all I can tell you. And then if it breaks down from here, nobody should be surprised. I think more possible targets are still up there. Yeah, there are a couple of other ways of measuring targets for the fifth wave, and there are more up there. And because we're currently holding support, and because there are still targets available up there, I'm still leaning to the upside. Yeah, but I'm not married to it, so I acknowledge that we could very well break down, that, and that's why I am very careful or very cautious about risk management at the moment. Yeah, but primarily, just to make that very clear, I expect still higher. Now, for everybody who's new on the channel, you might know and assume correctly that the market doesn't care about my expectations, what my bias is. That's why I tell you what I expect. But this does not need to be what the market does. Yeah, the market always decides. Yeah, I can't will the market. I can't make the market. I can't change the market. Nobody can, unless if you want to discuss about whales and whatever. But even they rarely change really a trend that's already started, especially on larger time frames. But the point is to know about these key pivot points and the key levels, right? And this here is, as it has been over the last week or so, 23,350 or 340, 23,340. Going below that level would unlock lower prices into the region of last week's low, which is around 22k, I would say. And if we lose that area as well, then we're probably heading down here into this green support area that I highlighted to you. So this is still the message. Yeah, primary expectation still higher because the short-term uptrend hasn't broken. Very, very clear and hopefully logical. Yeah, you always give preference to the trend, especially as long as your ideal targets haven't been reached, even though minimum targets have been reached. And when you then see it go beyond a certain pivot, then you change your view. or you move to the alternative or second scenario, which is already basically on your chart. Now, here to do the bit of the, the micro counting is always a bit difficult here in these ranges. I mean, I still have it labeled as a wave 4 here, and that we could rally in a fifth wave. This could still be a 1-2 setup here, but it has come down a little bit too much to make it likely. So I'd rather still see this as a wave 4, which could easily come down to 23,340. If it has to below that level, I will move to the count that we talked about on the Ethereum chart in the Ethereum video, that this here was a wave 1, A, B, and this could be a C wave down to retest the lows from early last week. And if we lose them as well, then we're probably in the scenario that we completed this whole rally, yeah, and that we're coming into this larger support area. Because the one that I just showed you, where I say, okay, 1, A, B, C, this would only be the first 2 waves of that fifth wave. So that would actually lead to an extension. But I explained that all in detail in the last Bitcoin video, so feel free to watch that as well. It's a bit more detailed, but I can't repeat all of this in every video. One more thing I wanted to mention to you, and that's sort of still hopefully clear to everybody, that I'm leaning towards one more low, so that the bear market is not over yet. And that's just very simply due to the idea or the view that the trend really hasn't changed yet. We haven't even broken above the high from August. And as per the rules of market structure, Elliott waves, there is still a scenario, and a very, very logical and likely scenario, in which we could make one more low. And to see the low here from June as a wave 3, that we then only rallied in an A wave because it was corrective. This here was a B wave low back in November, and we're now rallying in the C wave. So A, B, C in a wave 4, and we could make one more low in a wave 5. Now that's what I'm leaning towards. This doesn't mean this is necessarily what's going to happen, because it is also possible that the wave 5, and with that the higher degree wave 2, the end of the bear market, was marked here in November. Possible as well. So what do we do? Well, what I do, we did expect then, we obviously have been talking for the last few weeks about this wave 4 and 5. So obviously we've got a 5 wave move up. Now again, in the bearish scenario, this could just be a wave C or 4. But if we come into this region here, A, B, C, and we find support here, and we hold, and we don't drop below the 17.5k level, and that target might change depending on what we do now. If that happens, the low, I will say the low was in. The bear market is over. Yeah, it will be confirmation. It is not certainty though, but it's confirmation, as good as you get it in the markets. And even if I'm leaning towards one more low, because I haven't seen the confirmation that the bull market has started yet. Yeah, this will be the confirmation. Yeah, and because this is a possibility, I will still trade it on the long side here. Yeah, because this will be either way a very attractive long trade area. Hope that's clear. So very open to the idea the bear market could already be over, but we need to wait for confirmation. There's people speculating and so, but there's no point. There's no point. We want to wait for the rules, for the rules to be met, and and also because sometimes people ask me, I do share stuff on Telegram, Discord, and so on, but you are very much aware probably about this sort of Wall Street cheat sheet. Now, all this is highlighting what the Elliott waves tell us as well. Now, for every wave in the cycle, Elliott waves, there is a certain sentiment against it as well. And typically, when you are sort of in a wave 2, it's all super bearish. Now, the way to understand this, in my opinion, with Bitcoin is sort of that we are somewhere down here. I just wanted to show you, because I have seen the discussions on Twitter earlier today. Now, from looking at the Bitcoin chart, just look at it again, yeah. Wave up, lower low, try to rally impulsively. So what happens then? Yeah, this is, of course, not an exact science, but it's a possibility. That this was the low in June here. We rallied into August. We came down, made a lower low in November. Now we rally quite impulsively. It's running out of steam at some point. Yeah, maybe we make a new high, maybe not. And then it could still get into an area of depression. And then we start a new bull run. Yeah. So this is still very real. And if anybody would ask me where are we on this map, I would at the moment say probably up here. Yeah. But of course I cannot rule out that we're already sort of here. Okay, I can't rule that out. Yeah, so this is the uncertainty we have to deal with, and therefore I want to wait for confirmation if this support area will hold, and I'll of course try to guide you as good as possible. Okay, that's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.